I am joined right now by a chap I've seen before. Maybe you have too. Hello, Lindz.
Hello, mate. How are you?
I'm not too bad today. LZ7, let's just do some really basic stuff. Perhaps people who don't know, what is
Yeah.
LZ7?
So LZ7 is a band that we formed in about 2000 and I don't know, 2006 maybe, and we started going into prisons and we did a prison ministry, we did a prison tour. One of our singles, This Little Light of Mine, suddenly got very popular. We did a massive high school tour. 2011, released it into the charts, and it kind of set us on the trajectory of what we're doing. And it's taking the life-changing message of Jesus to young people through music. So we do that through Illuminate High Schools tours that we launched at the House of Lords. It's now in every city up and down the nation. And the music is the platform, the gospel's the purpose. So we release music into the mainstream, into areas, like Radio 1 campaigns, and Charlie Hedges will do a remix, and then Majestic, he's thinking about doing a remix now, but he'll play our stuff out. And then you go into a school, and that platform that creates is the credibility, and the music fronts all of the workshops that we take with whole schools over a whole week and a gig at the end. And it's all geared at Key Stage 3 and 4, PSHE, so it's anti-suicide, self-harm, blah, 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 with a message of hope. And when kids start asking questions, you can start really saying, where your hope comes from, how do you deal with this situation, and what do you think about that? And it just breaks stereotypes, breaks barriers. Thousands of young people a year become Christians and into Alpha. So I've moved back to London to start a relationship with Alpha. So after every school tour, we then siphon into Alpha so that kids, it's not just response and SEO, it's like response and relationship. And it's like we then build those blocks that are building blocks that take them on that journey.
I mean, music is so powerful. I was in Manchester, Pace Project 1995-6, saw the Worldwide Message Tribe as it was. In schools, worked alongside them a couple of times thinking, this is so, I mean, to me, at age 19, 18 or something, thinking, why is no one, I've not seen this before. This is such an amazing way of doing it because the music's really good. Therefore, that hooks people in. Yeah. And then, of course, Andy Hawthorne doing what he does with Jesus. And it's that sounds what I'm hearing is what you're doing today.
Yeah, so I joined the Worldwide Message Tribe in 1999. I was a young, wet behind the ears, kind of not new Christian. I'd grown up, like my parents were missionaries, and they worked for Billy Graham, and so I understood that well. But I was definitely working in London, earning a decent amount of money with a decent job on a graduate scheme. Auditioned for the Worldwide Message Tribe. I moved up I was living in Windsor, and I moved from Windsor to Wythenshawe, and it was like a baptism of fire, and it was like the most socially deprived council wards in Britain. And then we were going into schools, and then kids were coming to the gigs, but then knocking on my door at night. And I was out there playing football till 11:30 p.m. at night, 12 o'clock, feeding kids, running youth clubs. And yeah, it was one of those, like, this is really giving your faith feet. And out of that same DNA that the Worldwide Message Tribe had, they would do one school in 1 week, and we would do like 30 to 40 schools a year, maybe even 50 at one point, and we were just hammered, like really going hard on Manchester. And when the tribe stopped, I just knew the method was changing, but the message wasn't, as in the message of Jesus, not the message trust, the message of Jesus. And what does that look like? And I was like, well, it's kind of like, I don't know, I heard the Prodigy album, and I heard Linkin Park and Jay-Z, and I was like, the wall of sound they create is like this live band with the DJ stuff. And I love the DJ side of stuff because I love all that Prodigy sort of sound. How do you couple that with the live band and the gospel, and how does it all work? And so it's the exact same DNA as the Worldwide Message Tribe, but we've gone global, international, every city across the UK, across Europe. Just opened a European office in Copenhagen. Just about to launch it in June. We do tours in New Zealand and Australia and the States, and it just goes everywhere. So it's birthed out of that.
As I said, music, it changes, it opens doors. Yeah. I've seen stuff done with sport in schools. That's a great medium. And I've seen music used in schools, and they're both in different ways. Such a good way of people engaging with it. Because if this music's good, people are hooked in. If they're hooked in, they want to listen to what you have to say, which is exactly what you're saying about the credibility. Let's look to February, because this is why we're talking right now. Yeah. Where are you going in February, and why?
I'm just about to start the Jason Derulo tour, and we're doing all the major arenas in the UK, and that starts on January 29th, but it runs all the way through to March 8th. So in February, I'm going to be, I don't know, Oslo, Copenhagen, Paris, Vienna, all over the place. But it's just an amazing opportunity to really put a lamp on a stand. And we talk about Isaiah 40, where it says, go up the mountains and shout to the towns of Judea, here, Judea and Samaria, here is your God. And this is one of those mountaintop moments where we've done all the hard work, we've done all the, and I mean, don't get me wrong, jumping on a tour bus is not easy work. It's hard. It's long hours and it's long drives and it's long, but it's to get to those moments where you shout, here is your God, here's faith, explore this, find out more about that. And it's just, I'm so looking forward to it. And we did the Derulo tour in 2018, 2019 and loved it. And they just threw the tour wide open to us. So it's going to be incredible.
Excellent. All around. I mean, I've just been looking before we spoke at some of the dates, as the events you've got, and yet loads of UK gigs across Europe as well. As you are going loads of places. There's some of these new tubes. I know you do a lot of touring. Are there places you're thinking, oh, haven't been there yet?
No, I've been to most of them actually.
Okay.
But this is what I said when we spoke to the management. I was like, look, we do festivals in arenas that are big, kind of like music festivals or the big church festival, like that kind of stuff. But to do 26 on the bounce, like one after the other, is something that's unusual to us. So we're kind of like newbies to this. This was on the first tour, and it was just amazing watching the response. We do the first half an hour, and it's almost like the crowd warmer. Now we're used to kind of like mosh pits and huge everybody bouncing, all this kind of stuff. Whereas in a Derulo gig, it's like they're all sat down, they're finding the seats, and then we come on for the first half hour and we just get them warm, we're getting ready for what's going to happen. And it's just an incredible moment. Like every day's a school day, so we're just learning, how we win this crowd, win that one, different languages, different backgrounds. I'll learn like certain phrases of each language when we go beforehand, so I can speak in there, if it's Dutch or if it's Swedish or whatever, and it would just be, thank you so much for having us. We're LZ7 in their language. I don't speak your language, but I'm going to try. That kind of vibe. So it's a vibe.
It makes a difference though. If you make the effort, people immediately give respect. I've been to France a couple of times on school trips. When I would try and do badly, probably, they instantly warm up to you and they want to talk to you, which is the whole point of what you're trying to do. Yeah,
exactly. But I have it written down phonetically, so it's all. If someone read it, it's like gobbledygook. But if you see it, if you hear it, hopefully it sounds slightly, I don't know, like Austrian German or something. I don't know. We'll see.
It's good as long as you're not in Italy or something. It makes
exactly.
sense. It's fine. So who's on the tour with you? I know obviously you're going with Jason Derulo, but who have you got with you?
So there's 4 in LZ7. There's it's the 4 L's. So it's Lindz, Lewis, Lee, and Leon. Leon is the MD for London Community Gospel Choir, and he was actually playing for Callum Scott on the last tour. And then I found out he was LCGC's MD, and I was like, hang on, I know you. Why do I know you? And we used to play ball against each other. He's obviously played festivals.
Yeah.
And I was like, come join LZ7. What are you doing? And he's like, well, I'm running the choir, but I'd love that. So he's our drummer. And then Lee is our Illuminate Schools Tour coordinator that actually plays bass and moog and synth. And then Lewis is the DJ who I actually started LZ from the very start. He is back in the fold, and it's just the four lads. We've got some guests. We've got Gracie Herbert, who's the daughter of Nick Herbert. She's on our new single. She's coming along to some of the major events. We're also going to get Saints Up, our new band from Light, who are kind of, I don't want to say young Z7, but they are kind of like a younger version of us, but multiplies what we're doing. And yeah, it's going to be a real vibe.
Excellent. I'm really excited for you. The first song I remember of you was This Little Light of Mine. I remember we were doing some work in churches, and someone said, oh, we've just seen it. It's really cool. Can we use it on a Sunday morning? So we did. But I like the fact you've got something like that, but you've also got stuff like Gasoline, which to me is a different end of the spectrum. It's much more grungy and hard, which is perhaps my own personal thoughts. But I love the fact you've got such a really good range of what you do.
Yeah. So we definitely kind of we call it like a fusion of sound. And I guess that's like the longevity. When you hear Taylor Swift from 15 years ago, it's different to Taylor Swift to 2026. And I think music evolves. I think trends evolve, trends change, but we've got a real love for like that hard hitting, whether it's kind of like a rocky Linkin Parky type hit or it's a big EDM drop hit. It's whatever moves you. And the Holy Spirit can do in 2 seconds what we're going to do in 20,000 years and just go boom. And we want to build that platform through whatever. We don't necessarily head towards the kind of poppy pop stuff, do we? But we're, this next evolution of LZ7 is definitely going back to that more D&B, EDM, harder hitting sound, and a bit more age appropriate, I reckon, bro.
Awesome. We saw you at Big Church a couple of years ago. We came down and watched you the gig, which was really cool. And then last year, obviously you were in the main arena, which was that was the first time for you, wasn't it? The main arena, is that right?
The main stage.
Yeah.
We play every other year.
Okay, yeah.
So we go one year on, 1 year off, but we run the Illuminate stage, which is the shop window to the Illuminate tour. So we're always on site, and that opening that gives us to the church world to say, come with us on the journey. You know, if you're, you know, one year we did the main stage, and I announced that we'll go to towns, villages, whatever. And this one dad was stood there, and he said, would they come to a little market town in Northamptonshire? And he came over, and I was like, yeah, 100%, let's go. And he went out and coordinated and united 72 churches all across this one area into 5 schools. We had to do 2 gigs back to back, building parent areas now where parents turn up with their gin and tonic and they stand at the back and they watch the show, but then they're responding to the gospel. And I'm just like, this is a universal thing, right? So that's you know, we've got a real deep, good, loving partnership with Big Church, and but we always go 1 year on, 1 year off, because otherwise it's overkill. But then we get complaints of, it's not Big Church without LZ7. I'm like, I know, I get it. But just let me leave you hanging for a little bit, and then we'll come back with some more stuff.
Yeah, I like that. At 40 Towers, they finished while it was good. It left people wanting more.
There you go.
Which meant it worked, and it's still popular. I was listening to John Cleese talking about, we could have gone a bit more, but it was really good. And at the top of our game, stopping there, it means it has that longevity.
Yeah.
I also love the fact that with the gospel, it doesn't work the same as other stuff, whether it's music or authors or whatever. It's about Jesus, right? So if you get the opportunity to go somewhere, can I share Jesus? Yeah, great. I'm there. You'd be there. And that's what I love about it.
There you go. That's it. That's the message. Like, that's all there is. Like, if we're not doing that, we just probably wouldn't do it.
Yeah, amen to that. Lindz, thank you. We're looking forward to getting this another chat later in the year, maybe. But I really hope this tour goes well. Safe travels with all you're doing, and I really do pray that people open their eyes and their ears to the gospel through you, whether it's younger or older folk. Because, like you say, the gospel is Jesus. Jesus is universal, and music is one of those mediums. So I really pray that you get some really great opportunities to win people to Christ, which would be cool.
Well, if you get a chance, hop on social media, hit Instagram or TikTok, and go to Ticketmaster and see if you can get a ticket, because we're in London, Birmingham, Cardiff, Brighton, Bournemouth, Leeds, Manchester, Glasgow, Dublin, and then we ship over to the US, to Europe. So if you're anywhere near any of those cities, I would love to see you there. So get on Ticketmaster, get yourself a ticket, and then we're doing some meet and greets on the nights. So we might get to hang out with you as well.
Cool. Lindz, LZ7, I really hope you have a great time in Europe with all that you're doing. See you later.
Thank you, mate.